Hey guys, so today we're going to look at your Instagram captions. So what we're going to be looking at is all the things that a caption should have on Instagram, which are things like it relating to your ideal clients. That's really important that you are speaking to your ideal client and not speaking generically. That really helps me actually when writing a caption to literally picture like one person and I'm telling that person something. And I'm trying to, imagine how they'd respond, and that really helped me write my captions. So we're looking at ideal client, and a good caption also provides context to the image. So our photos are obviously like really, really important and sort of tell a story in themselves, but the caption should provide context to that. So it shouldn't be a completely mismatched caption to the photo. We also want to look at captions that tell stories because they're always really, really interesting. I feel like an Instagram caption these days, it's kind of like microblogging, basically. Like Instagram is microblogging, and that's a really helpful way of thinking of it when you're coming to write your caption. So we're going to look at stories. Most importantly, you want to show your expertise. So talk to your ideal client about what it is that you do. What's your expertise? What's your experience? What can you teach them? How can you show that you are the person for the job in describing how you work and stuff? So you want to sort of educate them and or entertain them as well. So if your post can do those things, then brilliant. So we're going to have a little look through all of your Instagrams that you've put your names down for. So we'll start off with Simon. Right, he's got a few pinned posts. So let's have a look. What we're going to do, we're going to pick a few from each person, I think. Not every single one. We might go through and sort of choose some to talk about. So what have we got? I love this. So he talks about details in photos. And I think this is something that couples don't really think about that we do. And this caption really shows his expertise really well. So he says, what are details? While shooting your day, I'm also capturing small touches that show your personality and things that you wouldn't even think needed photographing. This is such a great way of showing your expertise. This is the sort of friend with a camera versus the professional photographer type thing, where they're not going to photograph those little things, but Simon knows what to look for. And I think he's done a great job here of showing his expertise.
It's a pinned post, which is your nightmare, isn't it? You hate a pinned post.
I don't like a pinned post personally, because when you go to it, you don't always realise it's a pinned post, and you see the date and you think, oh, they've not posted in ages. And that's the thought I'm left with. You did it the other day. You know all about pinned posts, and you still said, oh, so-and-so hasn't posted for like a year. I don't think they're active anymore. And I was like, have a look at the date. Is it a pinned post? And it was. They posted up until that very day, further down the feed. So I'm not a fan of pinned posts for that reason. And because if anyone comes to your feed for, more than once, they'll sort of they want to see new stuff, really. That's what Instagram's about. So they don't want to keep seeing the same old stuff.
I feel like I'd be tempted to take the Advent wedding challenge bit out of this and just have it, if it's going to be a pin post, have it be about details and just take the Advent thing out so it's not as tied to mid-December.
Absolutely. I agree. Advent wedding challenge hashtag doesn't mean anything to couples. It might be fun during December, but it doesn't actually mean anything now we're in April. So you could have that as a hashtag later on, like in the middle of all those hashtags down there. That's fine. But stuff like day 15 juicy details doesn't mean anything. Day 15 of what at this point? So at the time you're writing it, you're like, yeah, this is great, it's day 15. But, months later, when a new client is looking at your Instagram, they're thinking day 15 of what? It doesn't compute. So I think all of this stuff, juicy details, Advent challenge, even this bit I think is not really necessary at this point. I would open it with this. Like this is the selling point, really. So this is what you really want to be getting into. So you really want to, people don't see on their phone, they don't see the whole caption. They just see the first line, if that. So you really, really need to think about your first few words. Like they've got to really make someone want to click the read more button. So starting with something strong is key there. Let's have a look. Let's find another one. So I like this for engagement shoots. I think captions for engagement shoots are usually missing a sort of selling point. Like, why would you get an engagement shoot? And that's what the whole purpose of the photo of the post is. You're selling engagement shoots, right? Like, the reason why you'd have it, so you could say something like, you know, my couples are often awkward. They often say they're awkward. So engagement shoots are a really good way to feel more relaxed in front of the camera and for us to get to know each other. So it's a real selling point. We know someone who booked a wedding because she did an engagement shoot, posted it, tagged the couple, and they shared it, and their friend booked the photographer. So that's also a really great way of using engagement shoots. So if you can sort of double up, say something really lovely about the couple so they want to share it, maybe something about their wedding, and also, why you do engagement shoots.
It's a nice background in the photo there.
Oh, it feels like right now, doesn't it? Super spring-like.
So what's this? Drop me a message below via the link.
If you're looking for a wedding photographer,
So is that
What
taken
link?
from a blog post?
It might be. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, obviously, it would be better if you adapted that for Instagram. So just change it to drop me a message below,
Yeah, for sure.
or DM me or whatever. Slide into my
Yeah.
DMs.
A bit of humour is always good.
Yeah.
I think any caption with humour is a winner in my book. I like captions to have personality, to be like in the real voice of the photographer, so you feel like you know them. And actually, we've had a little tiny look through some of the other photographers in this, and all my tabs you can see there. And there's one person who does like their own voice really, really well. So I'll come to that. But just a little bit of like realness, because Instagram's just like basically supposed to be quite personal. As for calls to action, I will address this now because we've got a bit of a call to action here. I actually, this is going to sound really weird, but I kind of hate call to actions. And I know the whole like marketing thing is you've got to have a call to action. You've got to be like, this is what to do next. Comment below if, or which is your favorite, whatever, like trying to do, but sometimes it feels forced, like it's marketing, like you're writing that call to action so that you can game the algorithm rather than, genuinely wanting to engage. And as a user, I don't respond to those things because I feel like it's just for the engagement. But I respond to things when I really, really feel like I want to respond to something. So rather than just writing a call to action, write something that is so engaging, people just have to comment, So something where they're like, yeah, I get this is awesome, I really relate, that sort of thing. Talk about something relatable rather than trying to make people comment.
Yeah, or just don't have one. If your content is something like an engagement shoot and it's not something that's easy to fit with a call to action, then don't do a call for action to action with that post.
Yeah, you don't need to slot one in every single time.
I think it's about being natural, isn't it?
Yeah.
And about sounding like you would on your own personal profile in a way.
Yeah. So this one I think is really, really good. I think it's brilliant that he's written about his expertise, like why you'd get groom prep. This is something that couples wonder about, and they're probably quite, against, like, we don't want groom prep, we don't need that. And this is such a great way to show your expertise and why someone should have groom prep. You're selling it to them. I think it's really well done.
So actually something like this I think would work quite well with a call to action because it's a longer form post and because it's showing your expertise. You could just sign off with, if you fancy a chat about your plans for your wedding day with an expert who knows their stuff kind of thing, then drop me a DM.
Yeah, or like all of my couples getting married, if you want to talk about adding groom prep to your package, let me know. Or you could talk about the fact that sometimes with groom prep you might need a second photographer. If you're one of my couples and want to book a second photographer for groom prep, let me know.
It's because it's a brain picking kind of a post. So something like that lends itself well to a call to action that gets people in touch with you to actually pick your brains.
Yeah, that's it. Use your expertise.
Whereas if it's just pretty much an image drop, like some engagement photos, then that's maybe not so natural.
Yeah. Moving on to Tish. So Tish is the one I was just referring to where she speaks in her own voice, and I love it. I am here for it. So I've mostly sat on my arse today, intermittent napping with the cat eating chocolate. I love that because it's just totally her voice. Like you know that she's not written this for marketing reasons. And I love that.
You know what I think I would love to see here? Some behind the scenes pictures of your day instead of a wedding photo.
100%.
Because I love that tone as well. But it makes me curious to see the actual thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, so this is what we talked about at the very beginning. You've got to match. You've got the caption is there to show context. So this doesn't show context for the photo. I actually expected this photo to be, if you want smoke bomb photos, then this is the best provider. However, it can stain the dress, blah blah blah. So when I do these photos, I make sure that X, Y, Z. Show your expertise in smoke bomb photos. And talk about different ways you can use smoke bomb photos. So I love Todd's idea of showing a behind the scenes picture or video, because the caption's about you.
Yeah, and those sorts of things that you've mentioned in there are so relatable, It makes me think about sitting around eating an Easter egg, and I kind of want to see that.
Exactly,
so
yeah, me too.
It's that natural curiosity, and I think with social media, because we're all on it, partly because we're curious, we want to know what people are up to and what their house looks like and what their cat looks like. So I definitely think there's a place in people's grids, in our work grids, for more personal photos.
Oh, they always go down the best for me. Always. Like whenever I post a picture of myself, it always does so much better than any wedding photo, because people are just really curious about other people. So let's have a look at another. So this one just says congratulations, which is fine. Everything aches today, which is always a sign I enjoyed myself. I love that. It's brilliant because it is the same sort of vibe where it's telling us something about you. But I feel like I want more about this photo, like more context. Like, what's the deal with this bridge? Is it a famous spot? Do you know about it and no one else knows about it? How did you come across this bridge? Did you do some planning to find this photo spot? How did you come to it? Talk us through, your expertise and your experience and how you can get to this point for other couples who might want to book you.
And it doesn't have to be super long, you could just add an extra sentence in describing all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we get that, not every post is going to be a long form storytelling thing. And I think sometimes there's a bit of a misunderstanding there where I feel like educators pressure us sometimes to do the whole long form storytelling thing. And if that's not suited to the photo, or it's not suited to your mood and your way of working that day, like if you can't get your head around writing several paragraphs about something, sometimes it could be as simple as adding an extra sentence that just adds a bit of context to the image.
Yeah, you don't need to shoehorn context in. You don't need to shoehorn in a story to fit with the photo. Just a little bit is nice. I love the way you've got the suppliers in here, so hopefully they'll share it. There are no hashtags, so feel free to put a few hashtags in there. But yeah, not bad. Let's find another one. Let's see. I love this one. So you've got the whole story where you shot their wedding and now they've got a baby. And I think there is room in this caption. Again, I love her own voice here. It's brilliant. I can hear you talking, which is great. But you could always say, did you know I also do baby photos? And wouldn't it be fantastic if you could have photos matching your wedding photos once you have a new arrival in your family? Like, round it out, have the whole story. And it makes people want to have the whole story. So anyone who's booked you before will go, oh my God, yes, we could get Tish to take our baby photos and get the whole story, get them in the same style. Why should they book you? And, just letting them know that you do it. I would maybe, I don't know, would it be cheesy to have like a photo of the baby like half and half in here?
Don't know.
Instead of a carousel? Because sometimes people might not slide. And the whole story is the fact that you've got both. I don't know, it's just an idea. Just a thought. We've got the venue and the hairstyles and stuff, which is fine, but it's not about that, I think, on this occasion. It's just a blue wall, so it's not really, the venue's not there to, it's not showing off the venue or anything. For me, it's actually about the full story rather than the venue. So, again, I love that, like with Simon's stuff, you're talking here about how you do details, which is great. This shows your expertise, this shows your experience, why you should get a proper photographer and not a friend taking photos, because you take the details. We'll move on from there. Oop. So, Anna, let's have a look. So, we've got a fantastic photo. Love this picture. I feel like the caption, there's so much potential here for you to tell your followers about how you came up with this idea for this photo. So you, as the expert, because non-photographers don't see these things. You saw orange chairs and you saw orange wall and you thought that would make a really great photo. You framed it, you stood outside the room and framed them up perfectly, and it's just brilliant. So tell the story of that, how you, as the expert, saw this opportunity, saw the colours, and all those the orange books as well. You saw these things, you framed it up, you stepped back, you framed it up, and you took this cool, candid moment of this couple with these cool colours. That's the story I want to hear. I love that you're talking about your walls at home. And I absolutely love one of those engagement posts where it's like, what should I paint my wall? But I would show us a photo of your house and say, this is my office. What colour should I paint it? And do some like swatches on the wall, because that's always really fun to see.
I'm noticing there's a lack of any kind of hashtags on this post.
And tags as well.
And no location tag either.
Yeah.
So I think if you can't be bothered to like come up with a list of new hashtags every time, it's worth having a note saved on your phone that is just a list of generic hashtags that you can use again and again.
But then obviously mix and match them. So pick a few each time. Don't just repeat the whole lot each time. Absolutely don't do that. Because Instagram will be like, okay, these 30 hashtags can't all be relevant to every single photo. Just switch it out. Just choose like 5 to 10 of that list each time, the ones that are most appropriate. So I'd choose sort of colour-based ones and photography and reportage type ones for this, to be honest.
Yep, colourful wedding photographer. And if you're making a generic list, things to do with your area as well. So hashtag your area wedding photographer and stuff.
I like the venue because it looks like a pretty cool venue too. So definitely tag them.
Just because, I'm sure if you added some hashtags to this, at least twice as many people are going to see it. So even on one of those quieter posts that's maybe not a big deal, it's still going to get more eyes on it, which is always good.
Yeah, that's it. Like a lot of my bookings come from people who aren't even following me. And if I don't put any hashtags to signal to Instagram what the photo is about and where it should be, allocated in the algorithm, then it's not going to send it to those people. So definitely do a few. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, great. So we've got a very short caption without hashtags, and we've got a venue tag in the place, but a venue tag down here would be good too, so they can share it. However, there's so much opportunity here to tell a story of how you work. So you could say, I always make sure I know where the car's going to arrive and that I'm there when the bride arrives to capture this moment where she first sees her girls or first sees whoever or gets that tingly excitement about when she's about to walk down the aisle. I'm always there to capture that. And I capture it as creatively as possible, like here, how I framed her in the door, rather than, stepping back into the whole scene. This is why I did this. Such a great opportunity to show your expertise and talk about how you know when and where to be on a wedding day, because that is so valuable.
Is this photo a sneaky selfie of Anna Wood? Can you see in the reflection?
I don't think that's her. I don't think that's her. I wonder if that's like a mum or something. I don't know. But I just love the bride's expression. I think the fact that you captured that is such a meaningful moment because she looks so happy and excited. You need to tell the story of you knew that this moment would happen. So this one's good. So this testimonial, brilliant testimonial. Although it says we never felt so comfortable when being in front of a camera, I feel like it needs more but Anna made us feel really relaxed or something.
I think I'd be tempted to put this quote over the top of a photo.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have a feeling that text-based stuff just never does as well on Instagram.
No.
And I think that in this case, obviously you're going to have a photo of these guys.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of things you could do. You could do a carousel where you've got the photo on one image and then you scroll for the quote.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you could just put the quote in the text of the caption.
Ooh, I like that,
just have it next to a photo. But I feel like whenever I've kind of looked through photographers' feeds at photos and text posts like this, the text posts just never do quite as well.
Yeah, they don't grab your attention as much as an image because it's Instagram and you want it to all be images, which I think text posts really have their place for like marketing companies. But as photographers, it's great to have a photo. I would also add that in your caption, I would explain what you did to make them feel comfortable. So this is such a perfect opportunity to be like, Hannah and John told me they'd feel awkward in front of the camera. However, look at this. I made them feel comfortable. And I did that by being chatty, being friendly, by making them laugh, and they just felt really at ease on the day, which made for really great photos. Like, show your expertise in that caption. Love this picture. So Liverpool. So you could say about how Liverpool has these great colourful spots and everything, and how you seek it out. As a colourful wedding photographer, you seek out these spots. Everywhere has somewhere that you're drawn to, and when you go on little walks on the wedding day with your couple, you make sure you seek out all these great spots that will make really great portraits and add a bit of colour. And you can say about how in Liverpool, there's all these opportunities and something like that. Like, just talk about how you work on the day, how you came to find this spot. You saw this, I don't know what it is, this building. You saw this building, you thought, what a great colour. You knew exactly where to position them. Talk about how you came to this photo. Dave. Right, let's have a look. So I love all this description of the wedding, and unless I've missed it, it doesn't talk about the fact that he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, which is just awesome. That would be really cool to mention. I think the caption could be about having a really personalised day. So you've got all of this, and I just think we could start off, because obviously people have to press read more. So you want your first line to be really, really gripping. You could start with Hawaiian shirt on your wedding day, go for it, or something. Here are other ways to personalise your wedding, courtesy of Francis and Seb, who did this, and this, and this, and this. I think that's great.
Yeah, this is good. It's a nice personalised caption.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's obviously written about your personal experience from this wedding. I'm wondering if some of these hashtags could be a bit more niched. So I'm guessing something like fun wedding is going to have a lot of posts every day, and it's probably going to be all over the world. So I'd be looking at things like Bristol wedding. Bristol wedding photography. Yeah, no, yeah. But more stuff in that vein. So I'd probably click on the, I think if you go onto the hashtag in the app, it will give you suggestions of related hashtags. So I would probably go down that rabbit hole a little bit more, because I think there might be people, local to either you or the area of the wedding that you're going for, that will be on those more niched hashtags. And that is going to be of more use to you than something like fun wedding, where you're going to end up way down the page of the most recent posts very quickly.
So you could look at like these sorts of ones that other people use when they use that tag. Rock my wedding. Oh, I love a good wedding blog for a good hashtag. So yeah, non-traditional wedding, that would have been amazing for you. I would have gone for things like Hawaiian wedding shirt. If it had no posts, then I probably wouldn't do it. But stuff like that would be really, really fun. But yeah, great job. Okay, so you love confetti shots. Love the fact that you said profanity. Like, that's fine. I like that as your voice. Talk about how you approach it. Do you organise the confetti line? Like, how do you know how to organise it? What do you do to make sure the confetti photos are amazing? Do you choose where it happens according to the light in the background? And also, like this particular photo, I feel like the whole context thing here is interesting, because you've tagged the whole venue and everything, but actually your caption could really go well with a carousel of different confetti images, and talk about how you do them. Otherwise, you could talk about the wedding and the venue in the caption here and hope that they will share it because you've talked about them. This is a great opportunity to talk about the fact that you do proposal photos. Is this the one you did the other day? It is, isn't it? I reckon this is. This is the one you did the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yep. Well done. I'm going to go back and look through them again with that context, with that knowledge that you... So, do you know what, Dave? You wrote to us in the membership that you were really nervous. You were waiting for the couple. You had them on your, what's the Google Maps pin or whatever it is, so you could see where they were. Live location, that's it. The spot that you originally wanted wasn't... It was now a chopped down tree with signs around it. So you rushed to the location to get the photo because everything was happening so quickly, despite all the planning and everything. Oh, just, like, what a story is that? What a story is it that you were there early, you were shaking with nerves, you were following them on live location, the actual planned spot was unusable. Like, I just think that's such a great story, and it shows your expertise in that story by showing that you are fast thinking, you're willing to put in, you know, the time, you care, you were nervous, it shows you care. All that sort of stuff is just like such a great story to tell for this. Kirsty, let's have a look. I love that you got a song lyric because that does well, I think, a song lyric. It just gets in people's head.
One of the classic wedding song lyrics.
Yes. I like this because it talks about you and how you dance on the dance floor. I love that because it gives us context of you at a wedding. Would you go for a live band or DJ? That is the sort of call to action that I feel like is... what's the word? I can't think of the word, but it's written in order to get engagement rather than trying to get people to engage with your caption. So you could leave it without actually a call to action for this would be who else has got shut up and dancing stuck in their head now? Like that sort of one where it's like not engagement-y, but it is creating engagement. You know, like everyone's going to have that stuck in their head now, so they will respond. So yeah, I think this is a nice one because it does talk about how you are on a wedding day, which is fantastic.
I'd be tempted to add the music into this one because you can add music to to an image post now.
You can, yeah.
So I don't know, maybe you have because we're not on the app. We're obviously on desktop to record this, but I feel like it's like obligatory now if you're going to do a wedding dance floor photo to add the actual music in there on the app.
Let's see. We'll not go through the styled sheets. Cool. This is nice. You've got all the suppliers in there, which is great. Their outfits are, and I don't use this word lightly, epic. I think they're just same with the Hawaiian shirt thing. I feel like we need to we need to really say something about these outfits first and foremost, don't we? In this caption. Yeah, I think that. What could you say?
So let's just have a look at the hashtags. If we compare posts, because I was looking at the hashtags on the first one, and I think they're really good.
First what? Of Kirsty's?
On the first one we were looking at, yeah. So I think...
Oh, that one. Oh,
I just want to make sure are you changing the hashtags every time?
No.
So I think I would look at doing some little changes to these hashtags. Taking a couple in and out, maybe adding one that's super personalized to the image, you know, one or two. Or there's a website, I think, and or an app called Hashtag Shuffler. You can cut and paste your hashtags in and it will just put them into a different order for you.
Oh, right.
And actually, if you have more than the number of hashtags that you want to use, so say more than 30, but whatever, you can dump in, say, 100 hashtags and it will pick out 30 of them or 20, however many you specify. So what that's going to do is, first of all, it's going to make sure that your hashtags are never quite in the same order, just in case Instagram is like algorithmically picking up on that. But also it allows you to have a big list of hashtags that you just pick from any time.
I think at the same time, so I would start off with that, but then I would make sure the ones you use are relevant because you've got here alternative wedding fair, and this is not a photo of a wedding fair. So if someone comes to you via this hashtag, they'll be disappointed because they're looking for wedding fair content. So definitely make sure that it is like colourful wedding photography, 100% colourful weddings, alternative, really, really appropriate, quirky weddings, really, really appropriate, unconventional, alt, love all that. So you've done really well with those. But yeah, I think, just everyone always make sure that your hashtags are appropriate for the photo.
Yeah, so what I do is I put mine into, I think it's called Hashtag Shuffler, but Google it and you'll find it. And I usually say, shuffle these and give me, say, 20 hashtags, and then I'll add my personalised ones on top of that.
Nice. But yeah, I would start off with something about this outfit, like something like how bold can you go? Your wedding day, your way, wear what the hell you want. And, you know, you're giving permission to people who might want to hear that, and you are the person that gave them permission. They'll love you for it. So anyone saying this will be like, yeah, Kirsty gets us. Let's see. Okay, so we've got a lovely golden hour photo. This is absolutely stunning. I feel like you haven't talked about how you see light and how you see framing, because this is a very unusual photo. Not many people would see this opportunity with the leaves and with the sun. So you can say how, I think this might be a weeping willow. You could say, every time I see a weeping willow, I get excited because I know I can use it to frame a couple. And when the sun shines through it just right, I know I can make romantic flair like this with, you know, like with framing and with composition. I can make it look really, really ethereal and romantic. And just talk about your expertise, your way of like doing that and seeing things that other people don't. So yeah, make the most of that. Ooh, love the pictures of Kirsty. Right. Let's say. Oh, cool. This is awesome. Yeah, I like the way you call out the sort of braveness of someone. I think that's brilliant. That's really good fun. I like that caption. I like the idea because I feel like that's definitely your voice. So yeah, I love that I can absolutely hear Kirsty's voice in all of these, which is brilliant. Yeah, keep on doing that. Tom. So the first three are awards posts, which when you just look at it like that, it looks a little bit corporate. We want to see wedding photos. So, I mean, they've done really, really well.
Let's have a look at the captions of those things. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I think you've written about your personal experience with getting them, which is nice.
Yeah, nice. I think this is reportage. When it comes to our couples, they might not understand what this award is. So I love that you've said, best of documentary wedding photography. Not a bore fest of stage shots. Yeah, I like that. That's really, really good. Joining Nine Dots has been the best decision you've made. Well, what about Kick-Ass? With the secret best decision you've made. This is nice. I like that you've said how much of an achievement it is. That's really good. Let's find a picture. So, 10 frames from the wedding. I like that you've piqued my interest. 6 images are my favourite. I have no idea what's going on. I have to see that. Let's just have a quick look. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my goodness. Oh, they've turned their dresses inside out over their heads. That is brilliant. Yeah, you got me there. You got me with that. Opening with 10 frames from, and this is probably the only bit you'll see on your phone before pressing read more, I would probably open with something like that because that really does pique your interest. Same with this one. I'd probably open with something that makes me want to click more. This is great. So many locations within the building for the photos. This makes me want to look at the ceiling and everything on the dance floor. Awesome. That really did make me want to look through them, so that's really good. Hearing your personal experience would be really good as well, though. Like your experience of that dance floor, of the day, of, the venue would be really good. I think we've done quite a few on there, haven't we? Well done. Becky. Yeah, you got some family photos. Lovely. So, slots open for Spring Mother's Day mini sessions. Why? That's what we want to know. Why should they book Mother's Day mini sessions? Is it because mums are often not in photos? Like, mums, do you find you're always left out of photos? Is it always a selfie? Does your partner just never turn the camera around on you? Is your phone full of pictures of your partner and your kids, but none of you? This is your day. It's Mother's Day. This is your day. Book a photo shoot, and I guarantee every single photo will be of you and your kid, and these memories between you that you'll never forget. Super nice, easy, essential shots. Cool. So your expertise here would be, here are the 9 things I look for from every newborn shoot. And that tells me, oh, she knows what she's doing. Okay, so it's time for spring. What's this telling me, though? Like, is spring the best time for photos? Sell me on it. It's spring, which is the best time for photos. The light is always gorgeous all day long. There's blossom and whatever's in the trees. It's the most colourful time of year. And everyone's happy because they can finally stop wearing jackets. So why not celebrate this what's it, like the rebirth of the seasons or something. How do they say, like the sort of new, you know, when like the seasons all change and everything's like coming back to life. Celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that you don't have to wear coats anymore, and have some lovely family time in the back garden or wherever, and get some photos of it. Be really good. Oh wow! Look at those cherry blossoms.
Very nice.
So, I would open with cherry blossoms only last for 3 weeks, and if you want some ridiculously gorgeous photos of yourselves in the cherry blossoms, then book me now because slots are getting booked up super, super fast. Awesome work. Max. Right. Who doesn't love Nottingham City Centre wedding? Get married at the grandiose council house bang and send it. Okay, so I want to know about you and your experience with Nottingham. Why you're the Nottingham photographer for us, basically. Like, I know Nottingham inside out. You don't live there. I was going to say, I've always lived there. I've shot loads of weddings there and I know all the best spots in the city. So on your wedding day, we can do a quick walking tour of the highlights of Nottingham. I will take you on a little walk after your ceremony and we'll have a good laugh together before sending you off onto your reception or something like that. Awesome. No caption, Max. No caption. I get that you've done it in here, so that's fine. I would write it out in the caption.
I'm guessing that's because this one is a reel, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you can do a caption in a reel.
Yeah, yeah. It's less common, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I would just say your wedding is the best part, like, make your wedding the best party you've ever had in the caption or something like that. And I'd maybe make this reel, I know we're talking about captions today, but I'd make the reel go faster. I don't know what song's playing on it. But I'd make it a faster one because it's about a party. So I'd make it fast-paced. Cannot wait to get back to the teepees. Teepee weddings are the greatest. Why? Why are teepee weddings the greatest? Actually, do you know what? I think teepee weddings are the absolute worst. Because teepees are so dark. They're so dark. But talk about how teepee weddings are the best because they always look amazing. They make a wedding look like a festival immediately. They just look gorgeous in the backdrop of your group photos. That sort of thing, you know, talk about why TP weddings are great. And show us a little carousel of different TP photos here.
Yeah, I think it's always worth thinking about who the target audience is for a post like this. So, and this applies obviously if you're writing a caption that's almost for the people in the photos as well. So Dave earlier with one of his proposal shots actually wrote it almost like he was communicating directly with the couple. But I think generally our intended audience with our Instagrams is people who are using Instagram like a lookbook. So they're going to be planning their own wedding. So at this point, they're probably really interested in things like the teepees, the VW camper, the bouquets in this photo look quite unusual. So what details can you tell us about it? What can you pull out and highlight to get people who are interested in booking their wedding at the moment interested in you and what you know about weddings and your expertise?
Yeah, you could easily tag in the TP company, the flower company, the VW company. The wedding dress is spectacular as well. Like, I would tag in all these companies and say, this is the dream team for a festival wedding.
And just try and remember that we're not speaking to a super general audience or the people in the photo. We're speaking to people on Instagram who are planning their wedding because they're the people who are potentially going to book you.
Yeah, I find it really helpful to just picture that one person every single time. I love that you put health and safety warning. That already made me want to read the rest of it. Attack you with confetti. So I think with this health and safety warning, there will always be a guest that will attack you with confetti. I'd like to see a photo where there's a face full of confetti. I get that they've got this bag and they've kind of dumped it on her, but we've not got a dumping amount of confetti here. So I would talk about in this photo, there's always one idiot who keeps the confetti in the bag or something like that. And you could say top tip, you can get little paper cones or something like that. And on a hot, sweaty day, instead of having sweaty palms, the little paper cones can really help. I would probably tell a story about how the mum once threw that grandma. Do you remember that video of that grandma who threw champagne over the couple thing? Instead of her confetti hand, she threw the champagne hand. You can tell that story. It's not your story, but you can still tell it. Someone once did this type thing. Just like confetti moments are those like ones where stuff happens and it's really weird and there's nothing you can do because it's all over in 2 seconds. Stuff like a big paper bag comes out, or the confetti, or the champagne gets poured over the couple, or whatever it is. It's a good opportunity to tell those stories. Okay, so why is the cinema a lovely place? It's like insane for really cool dramatic portraits or something. The light is really cool. You get to have a wedding in a cinema where you can watch videos and stuff. Like, I want more about why it's a lovely place.
I think I'd be tempted to switch this image out for one that's got people in.
Definitely, if you've got one. If he hasn't got one, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got anything people-y, obviously, photos of people tend to connect
Definitely.
better than more than anything else. So if you've got that option, it's worth doing.
I would also have a look at your hashtags, because we've got things like Bride Tribe and Bridesmaids and stuff like that. And this is not a photo of bridesmaids. Basically, it's like alt tagging a photo on your website, isn't it? You write what is in the photo, and this is not a picture of bridesmaids. This is a picture of a cinema, and I really feel like you haven't said cinema wedding or something like that in here. So I feel like you've copied and pasted your hashtags and not thought, actually, do you know what? This is a really cool opportunity to say cinema wedding or something like that. So definitely think about using your hashtags in a way that describes that photo and helps people. It helps like allocate the algorithm. It tells it like, this is what this photo is about, therefore this is who we show it to. Cool. Rich, let's have a looky. We have got Mr. and Mrs. Nil at. So there's so much you can tell us here. Tell us the story of how you got to this riverside. Is that the venue behind? What time of day was it? Like, it looks like sunset, so you can say, this was. I always go out at sunset for portraits because it's the most dreamy light, as you can see here. Even just something as short as that would be really great. Yeah, give us some good details, good info. Proud dad moment is lovely. You can elaborate and say, I love standing behind the groom or whoever at the top of the altar, because you always get that moment where you see the proud dad's face. And you could then say the bride never sees it. The bride can never actually sees her dad's face as they're walking down the aisle. So I'm always there to capture it so that she can look back and see how proud he looked. What a selling point is that for having a professional photographer? I've had a bride tell me that before. She was like, I didn't know my dad was crying. That's amazing. Like, oh my God, that's so meaningful to me. But she only knew because I took the photo of it. So talk about that. Actually, let's take a look at these hashtags. These some of these are really appropriate. But yeah, like family is everything and stuff like that. I feel like congratulations is a bit too generic probably. But father of the bride, that sort of thing is great. Oh, dog. That is the perfect caption. Throw in some dog emojis. Throw them in. I am all about adding emojis to a caption.
I think I'd be tempted to talk about how much I love dogs at weddings.
Yeah.
And just elaborate a little bit on that, because that's going to get you some of your ideal clients, isn't it?
Absolutely. Say something about like you always greet the dog first, or you're always happy to have a little rough around with the dog, or you're really good with dogs and you're really great at like making sure they behave for photos, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's a funny thing with social media. We forget sometimes to put out there the things that are most us. So if we really love dogs, we might identify really strongly with being a dog person, but how often do you actually tell other people publicly that you are like that? It can be one of those things where we just take it for granted within ourselves, but we forget to put it out there. And I think you need to reinforce stuff quite often on social media for people to actually get the message. So if you're a dog person, be gushing about it. Don't be afraid to mention it lots of times and put it out there every week or whatever. Yeah. Because it's going to take quite a long time to actually get the message out there and reinforce it. So just try and think about your personality traits and try and remember to put them out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would add in at least one hashtag dogs at weddings, because people will be searching for that. Let's see what we got. Oh, rain. Excellent. I love that. So it rained at this wedding. You can't actually tell because obviously it's like a gorgeous sunset at the moment. But you could say it rained at this. Obviously, I'd love it if it was a raining picture because then you can talk about how you deal with rain on a wedding day. Actually, I think this is the same couple as before. So yeah, this let's have a look at this one. So happy Monday. That's not going to make me want to click on read more. This one also not making me want to click. As Todd said, your Instagrams aren't for the people in them. Same with your blog post. It's not for the people in it. It's for the potential people. So tell us why you turned this black and white. Tell us what made you choose this spot. Tell us about how you put the daffodils in the foreground to show that it was that time of year. The storytelling in your composition. All these things are your expertise and you're not selling yourself. Like, you have spotted this thing that other people would absolutely not spot. You've done a fantastic job. Tell us about it, because honestly people aren't going to look around the photo that much. If you tell them I framed it with daffodils to show the time of year, they'll be like, oh yeah, he did, that's pretty clever, let's book Rich.
I think for the same reason I'm not too much of a fan of timely content. So we said earlier about the advent calendar challenge, and likewise this is kind of tied to a Monday when you posted it, which completely makes sense at the time, but then literally by Tuesday that content becomes out of date.
That's
so
true.
I think have a think about when you're doing your Instagram, it is like that lookbook feeling. So you're going to get a lot of people who are looking through your photos
like a portfolio
weeks or months after you've posted it. So I think it's just easy to omit things like the day of the week or the time of year, and then that content just stays a bit more evergreen.
Yeah, oh, that's a good point, yeah. Right, Charlotte. Let's have a look. Cool. So you've opened with their names. So again, the opener has to be really, really strong. So let's see.
I feel like I've seen Charlotte opening with song lyrics.
Oh, let's have a... She's opened with something each time, which is quite cool. I like that you've got a style. Oh my god, Daily Life of Indy, amazing. This is cool. Like that. I think you have a great opportunity to use this little first line to really make us... That's amazing. Really make us want to click on it. So the moment you've done it quite romantic and a bit like a song lyric-y type thing, but we've got to think about what's going to make people want to click on read more, basically. Oh yeah, there's a song lyric there. That's going to get stuck in my head now. Let's go back to the beginning. So as for the rest of the caption, I love that you've tagged everybody. That's really good. Nice number of hashtags. They're all quite broad hashtags. Brighton Town Hall Weddings is not broad at all. That's good. Things like Just Married, those sorts of things are quite broad. So these other ones are better.
I love where you've put love in caps there, because I think that shows, genuine enthusiasm for something.
Yeah, this sounds like your voice, which is really nice.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of looking at it, that just because something is a business page doesn't mean that you have to write it in a businessy tone.
100%.
And I think if someone, particularly on Instagram, if someone's written more like their natural voice, I'm so much more likely to read it and potentially book that person.
I just love this story you've told. It's an inspiring story of going for a pint after the wedding. It's like, it's getting me inspired for the wedding. It shows us what you're into. So that's really cool. These guys, right. So I love stumbled across a friggin' sunflower field with the caps. I like all that. I love the way you've got your voice in there. That's great. And it, like saying we stumbled upon a sunflower field and we can see the picture. Firstly, that gives context to the picture. Secondly, it shows that you as a photographer saw it and thought, let's go for it, let's do it. Which tells me a lot about you as a photographer, which is great. Cool. So this is nice in the way that the others also talked about how they do details, which is brilliant. You could talk about how, like they did, you don't just photograph the big moments, you photograph all the details as well. Your personal details that mean something to you. That is a lot of flowers. So it's the sort of, yeah, so planning a spring or summer wedding, get in touch, feels like it's sort of put in there as a little call to action. Whereas you want your caption to be someone writing, oh my God, flowers, love it, so many flowers. You could talk about the flower wall in this. You could say these guys had a massive backdrop flower wall and it made so many photo ops for you. Like, as a photographer, what did that mean to you and what did you do with it? Right, okay, so, where are we? Oh, here we are. Let's have a look. So we've got, from the thank you. Thank you for including me. So I don't know about the thank you because it's like when you write a testimonial, you put the testimonial on your website and you cut it down and it just says, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That doesn't tell us anything about how you work, about what the couple thought about you. Or, likewise the other way around, you saying thank you to the couple. I really want to know about what you're like to work with. This bit is perfect. You felt like a guest, you ate loads of food, you had a cheeky glass of whiskey. Love that. It tells us on the wedding day you're basically like a guest and you'll join in, which for me is the point of this. So you could say, at this wedding, I was treated like a guest, even had a cheeky glass of whiskey, joined in all the shenanigans. That for me is like, I'd love to see a picture of you having a shot as well.
Yeah, I think what it is with the current wording, it feels like we're not the intended audience for this.
Yeah.
It feels like the intended audience is these guys.
So we sort of skip past it.
Yeah. So I think there's just some simple things you can do to turn it around a bit.
Yeah. Ooh, this is odd. What's this? How did you make the font go like that? How does a person do that? How do you make the font go in a different font? So this for me doesn't actually tell me anything. However, the photo is gorgeous, and it's that you have captured that very meaningful moment between these two people. Lots of meaningful moments, in fact. And so I would talk about what these moments mean and why you capture them, rather than just their names, the venue and the day. I want to know what those moments mean to you. Wow. Again, this is unusual, so tell us about it. Talk us through. What is this? Is this a hole in the wall? You've obviously lit them as well, so talk us through that. Say, I found this hole in the wall and it was lit blue, and I thought, what an excellent idea for a composition. You practiced for half an hour with a random person with the light to get it just right, then you brought your couple out and put them right in the middle to compose a really cool and unusual photo for this couple. That's the story we want to hear. Like, I want to know what made you come up with that idea. I think it's brilliant. What? How? Is this a reflection with the phone or something? Talk about it. Tell us about how you got these photos. That is your expertise. Tell us how you got. Look at that. Did you make the smoke? Did you make the light? What made you see this? How did you come up with that? Like, show it. Tell us about that and make us realise that we really need you as our photographer. That caption's quite funny. I quite like that. I'd love to know the story behind it as well, because, like, what is going on? What is happening? There is so much happening in this picture. I'd kind of love to know more behind it. Fantastic. Right. Lucy, this is a... So, this is a post about how you work. Do you hate having your photo taken? So, I feel like nervous about posing in front of the camera. This looks like a super confident couple. It looks like a model couple. They're definitely posing and they look like models. They look very relaxed. It's kind of the opposite to all of this first paragraph. So I'd have a couple who are just sort of maybe looking a little bit awkward but laughing and enjoying it anyway. Candid. This is not a candid photo, so I want the context. I love the photo, by the way. It's really cool and colourful. And I love the fact that you talk about how you work. This is fantastic. This is great that you're talking about how you are candid, how you do the group shots, like all of this stuff, why they should have them. All of this stuff is really, really good. It needs to match, I think, the photos that you're showing, though, to tell us, to basically illustrate what you're saying. But yeah, I think that's a really, really nicely done caption. So as you can imagine, what we're going to say at this point, I want to know the story behind this. Like, well, you know, what happened? Did they want a photo with this VW? Did they hire it, or is it theirs? how did you make them feel relaxed in front of the camera? Was this like a sneaky 1 minute you had free to take a photo, or did you go on a little walk? Like, what's the story here?
Yeah, and I think if you're feeling overwhelmed, like if you're not sure where to start, just pick out one detail in the photo. So like, tell us about the VW camper here. Tell us about the bunting in the window of the camper. Tell us about the
dress or the flowers,
house in the background, which looks unusual. Just pick out one thing and then start there.
Yeah.
And if that's all you write about and it's one sentence about that, that's fine.
Just make someone want to look at the photo. Cozy. Oh, this is nice. So having like a little sneak peek of what someone said when you sent the gallery is quite nice. Super comfortable. Great. Helps them feel comfortable in front of the camera. That's brilliant. Prosecco on a Sunday morning. You're really selling it to me, to be fair. Love that. I think that's brilliant. Got another. Is that? Oh, I love it. Whoa, this outfit's amazing. I've just spotted this outfit. That's epic. Exploring the Lake District, Lost Nature. Taylor Swift on repeat. What's the deal with Taylor Swift on repeat? Did you bring the music? Did they? Like, what is this? Is this an elopement or something? Why are you in the Lake District? Tell us more. Like, do you live in the Lake District? Do you shoot there? Do you travel there? Tell the reader, because they don't know anything about you, how this came about and what this actually is. Wow. Gorgeous. This is what I meant when I said earlier about the baby photo and the wedding photo in like a split screen thing. I want to know more about the story behind that, the context behind this shoot. Awesome. You could definitely elaborate on this, about the details of the day, the sorts of things you photograph. Definitely talk to us about those things like this. The light hitting the dress just right and the long shadows and the people onlooking. Like that sort of thing. Tell us those stories. Awesome. Georgia, it's you. What I would say here is this is awesome that you've won an award. I don't know why you're saying you're not actually laughing at that, because I don't think there's anything wrong with laughing at it. I would say I wouldn't write that you're one of 7 photographers who won it and one of 7 who also advertise themselves on Hitch. You're making it sound like quite a small field of people that you won from. So people don't need to know that you're one of 7. People don't need to know it's only people who advertise on Hitched. You're basically saying I paid to win this and 7 of us won it. What you want to say is I won an award. I won a freaking award. I won a freaking award. That is the only thing you need to say. Maybe tell us what made you win the award. Was it your couple saying awesome things? If so, what did they say? Love to know that. And also, these are photos of you. So I won an award. Here I am looking super happy. If you want an award-winning photographer with this face, get in touch. Again, with engagement shoots, talk about why they should have an engagement shoot. Like, do they start off really awkward and you make them feel relaxed and it makes their wedding day so much easier? Talk about that. Let's see. Wow, what a day. So that doesn't tell us anything. We need to be gripped. They've got their dog, so let's talk about the dog first of all. Are you having a dog at your wedding? What about this little cutie pie? Maybe people didn't even spot the dog because he kind of blends in. So you could open with, can you spot a third family member in this photo or something like that? Having the dog also in a white dress. Is the dog in a... Wait a sec. Is the dog in a dress? Oh my God. Oh my God, the dog's in a dress. This is the best thing I've seen in forever. Okay, so honestly, if we go back to the start, this photo isn't for me as captivating as this one. Because the dog's in a tutu and they've all got lightsabers and this is just epic and we need to talk about that. I think this is the point of the photo. The caption and this photo are perfect as a match.
We got any hashtags?
No, some hashtags for sure, like lightsabers and dog in a tutu.
Yeah, I feel like
weddings.
This is such an alternative wedding that you could definitely hit up the hashtags a little bit here.
Yes.
Get a bit niche with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Really, really cool. You could put like geeky wedding or something like that as well. Absolutely. Lots of potential. John, look at this unicorn. Amazing. So John said in the request for Instagram links that we would tell him off for being too long. And I don't think there is too long, really. So if it's a good story, this is the thing, like with SEO as well. It's only too long if you're writing stuff to fill space and to get to a word count. It's not too long if you're actually telling a story that's captivating.
Unfortunately, this one does violate my rule about timely content. So we've got taking bookings for 2022 and 2023, and it was actually posted in March 2021.
So this is why pin posts don't always work.
Yeah. So I think if you just took the dates out of this, it would still totally work. It would still totally look current. Like, probably I wouldn't even have glanced down at the date.
Yeah. I would say, after reading this, I'd open it with weddings are silly or something like that, because she's holding a unicorn but looking very serious. I love all the stuff you've got here. That's brilliant. And the fact that you capture, I think that's just really good. Love that. I'm going to go past the pin post to a more recent one. Cool photo. I kind of like the way you said the boys, because that's going to really resonate with grooms. He wants a picture of the boys, you know.
No, this is a good length of post, I would say.
Yeah, this is great. And I love the fact that you said it came out better than you expected, because it shows that you're creative and you push the boundaries and you try things. That tells me a lot. Like, saying this came out better than expected, for me, you could worry that you're saying, oh, I didn't think it would work. But how I actually read it is you took a punt. You took a chance on something, you got creative and it worked. And I want to know that at my wedding, you'll take a punt. It might not work, it might. But if it works, it's epic. So I would actually lean more into working out better than you expected, why you didn't think it would work, what you did to get this shot, because that is where your expertise lies, and that's the story behind this photo. Bandioki. Right, so they've got like denim jackets and they're kind of rocky and stuff. You've done a rock-on thing here. I would sort of open with more of a, are you a bit of a punk rocker and want to have like a bit of that in your wedding? Check out these photos for inspo, where you can have a day decal or whatever jacket, how you can personalise your day, and how you take silly photos of people being idiots as well. Like, talk about your silliness and how it helps you capture the silliness. I'd probably not put a picture like this with a picture like that in a carousel, because I'd want it to be all about the silliness in that story. So again, make the picture match the caption. And I think this could be about rocking, being silly, that sort of thing. That's gorgeous. Again, you can just talk about how you got the shot. This is the thing with carousels. I think carousels need to be on a topic, so you can talk about that topic, and every photo in the carousel matches what you're saying. None of these are too long, John. Don't know what you're talking about. I love that picture. Like, they're really not. Okay, here's a long one. Good. I was hoping for a long one. Let's see if this is a good story. Sunsets. I'm usually about the fun. That's good to know. Awesome. Yeah, this is great. So maybe you could even say something like, I always look at what time do you do it? You look in advance at what time the sunset will be. You plan the day around it. You might say to your couples, like, make sure at 7:30 you're not doing anything because we're going to do sunset photos. You scope out a spot. I think this is great to be long, because you're telling us about something that requires some explanation. That's good. Caroline, let's have a look. So, before another year of fabulous wedding begins. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is where your love for weddings took off. So why? Why this wedding? Why did this make you love weddings? Tell us about it. Like, this is where a carousel of one wedding, of different types of photos at one wedding would work out. Because I want to know why. Honestly, why did this wedding make you love weddings? Because that gives me a real insight into your passion and makes me want to book you because you have that passion. So tell us about that. Definitely I'd have a photo, like Todd said earlier, and have a photo behind the text. So yeah, I'd definitely put people's photos in here. I don't know. Yeah, I think it would make it more captivating, because I think the FAQ is the part of the website and business and everything that is the least of interest. So I think if you can put some photos in there and maybe make pick some unexpected ones or something, that would be really, really good. Let's see. There's a lot of non-pictures. I'd love to see more pictures. Let's have a look at the... So I feel like we've got mixed in some corporate stuff as well. My opinion is that like weddings and family kind of go together on Instagram, but generally I'd put corporate stuff separate. So we've got a photo here, fantastic. So I never thought about having a dove release. So interesting. This is good that you talk about why you would have it. Oh, I definitely want to know how you managed it. I want to know how nervous you were. Oh my God, that's epic. That's the first photo we should show on the carousel. It's brilliant. I want to know how you felt, because I would have been like palms are sweaty and all that sort of stuff. Like the pressure of having to, like, what is it you're dealing with? You're dealing with, will I be able to focus on the dove when it comes near me? Will I be able to capture it at all? Will it fly off in the wrong direction? Will I be ready? Will it come to me? Will it go the other direction? What were you worried about? What were you nervous about? Because you've nailed this picture, because their faces are epic. And this dove is just like coming at you. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I think in terms of the ordering of the photos, something that I've seen a few times in this review session is the best photo in a carousel being like number 3 or number 6 in the carousel. And I'm not sure how many people really scroll through a carousel on Instagram. So if you've got a really killer favourite image, always open with that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, even if it's completely out of order and like it was, you know, the last thing that happened in the day, open with it anyway.
Yeah.
Because if you've got a really strong image, that is what's going to pull people in. It almost doesn't matter what you do with a caption if the first image or the only image is not strong enough to get people hooked.
Yeah, because you can't see, oops, wrong one. You can't see the doves in this picture at all.
Yeah.
It just looks like 3 people standing by a what's it called thingy.
And I thought, you know, the next image is good because you captured the dove in there and it's framed in the middle of the doorway. But the final one is so cool.
Yeah. I want to know how you felt. Did you think it was going to poo on you? Did you think it was going to hit you? Do you know what I mean? I want to know how you felt in that moment.
But yeah, I think for all of us doing carousel posts, but also when it comes to picking single images as well, it's so important to get that image right with Instagram.
Yeah.
And the whole caption thing is secondary to that.
Yeah, like if it's not a captivating photo, people might, you know, it's the first line of that caption and the photo together will make people want to read more. Just going to engage your plan to, they want to make an official engagement shoot, breaking the ice with your photographer, brilliant. That's really good. I like that you've said it breaks the ice with your photographer. I feel like your language is separated from yourself. So it's a great way of breaking the ice with your photographer. How about, I love doing engagement shoots because it helps me break the ice with my couples. It helps them feel more comfortable with me on the wedding day. So don't be afraid to talk about yourself. Again, I think you've sort of separated it from yourself here. You haven't said, on the wedding day, it's really nice to have couples photos, and I always insist on it because it's such a great way for you guys to have some time alone, and I get to take some gorgeous photos of you. Like, bring yourself into that more. Right, next. Finishing touches. I love Derek's photos. They're all they look like film. Like, how do you do it? They're fantastic. Finishing touches. I want to hear about the moments that you capture and why this is an important moment. Like, is this the groom or the dad or something? Father and son, so it's the groom. Talk about how you do groom prep, and this is why. Because you get to capture these moments. This kid's going to grow up. He's wearing this awesome little suit. And this moment is such a tender moment, and you were there to capture it. Nothing staged as it happens. That's cool. Yeah, so talking about not staging things is great. So we haven't got a caption on here, but I do not know what I'm looking at, so it really needs a caption. Am I looking at a photo of a photo? Or is this a photo you took and put it into one of those Instagram frames?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, so I want to know kind of why you chose to do that, because it's interesting. And this photo just looks really, really like something from the 60s. I love it. All your photos do, and I kind of want to know how you do that. Like, how do you see the world that it manages to look like one of those really cool old school photos? Why were you here and not up the front? Talk to us about that. Like, I think that's really interesting that you got this moment.
Yeah, so... Oh, yeah, that's nice with the little bit of motion going on there as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, it's all about that storytelling.
This photo, I would love to hear in the caption why you chose to use the motion blur here, because it makes, for me, it makes it feel like old-fashioned. It makes it feel actiony. Like you can feel the movement, you can feel the emotion in this photo. I want to know, is that on purpose? Like, what was your thought process behind this? I'd love to know all about how you work, especially Derek, as your photos are so different to everybody else's. I want to really know about that process. You know about it. I don't, and the couples don't, and we really want to know. If you sell me on why you do motion blur, I'm going to want to have it. Just a couple left. We have Louise. Right. Lovely colourful picture. I thought this was India and Stephen part, as in break up. But it's part 2 with, I think, the peace sign. I have nothing to say except for please feast your eyes. It worked so hard to create the wedding head of mine. Smashed it. Flowers, flower crown, homemade backdrops. I like Awesome Team Alert. That's cool. So you've tagged loads of people, which is great. You've got really appropriate hashtags as well, which is brilliant. I'd open with maybe like, so let's see. Actually, they're all really good potential openers, to be fair. These are great photos. Such a colourful wedding. It's like they've made a Pinterest wedding, basically, haven't they? I feel like. It's like ultimate wedding inspo. So you've used your first line, I think, to say this. Whereas I kind of want to hear about the flowers, flower crown, backdrops. Tease me about the backdrops. With the first photo, we don't see it. So if you say these backdrops are so ridiculously Pinterest worthy, you're going to be hitting pin before I don't know. But like you're gonna want to save these photos for inspiration for your wedding. Yeah, I think that's really, really cool. Another festival of colour. What's another festival of colour? Was there a previous one or something? I don't know. So maybe don't refer to maybe a previous post or something in case people don't know what it is. I love that it was really, really hot, and I kind of want to hear more about that and how you dealt with that. Because I love hearing the behind the scenes, like, you know, you had sweat marks on your pits, you had sun lotion streaming down your face, all that real stuff. And the fact that the blue sky lent itself perfectly to these colourful smoke bombs, how you did the smoke bomb photo, why you did it in this way, all that sort of stuff. Oh, you get some brilliantly colourful weddings. These are fantastic. Love this. Okay, so you're not alluding to that bum photo in the caption. I would absolutely be alluding to that bum photo. Like, check out photo number whatever for a cheeky surprise or something. Epic day, epic couple, epic Newcastle. In what way? Tell us in what way they're epic. Why? Why is this epic? Again, when we talked about Nottingham earlier, I think it was, with the cool backdrops, talk about how you spotted this and thought the colours would suit so well for their wedding, with their photos, like to suit their wedding. How you did the confetti photo, because that's not coming out of a tunnel. They're surrounded by Weeping Willow and their guests. So talk about how you orchestrated that and how you made the most of the city, basically. How did you make the most of this city? You're in a library. Talk about all that stuff. How did that come about? Is it meaningful to them? All that sort of stuff I want to know. Last but not least, Emma. So let's go to one that's... Right, so no, not big flowers and big flowers. Cool. So again, you could talk about in the caption about the fact that you get details and not just moments on the wedding. Cool. So this is another instance of matching the caption to the photo, and it's more about their day in general than the actual photo. So you could say, let's see. So instead of joyful to photograph, you could say why. Why is this a pleasure to witness? Did you have a really good laugh with them? Because that helps us see what you're like to work with. Do you have a laugh with your couples? Fitting into tiny vehicles, not accordion and live band and surprise performance. Oh, that sounds really lovely. So, yeah, I would sort of, let's think. I would talk about how you felt at this wedding, in your opener, and how they were awesome to be with. Let's see. Almost a year ago is sort of irrelevant for newcomers to your Instagram. I love that you've talked about anxiety-ridden daily thoughts. That's really interesting. I'd like a photo of you, and I'd like to really dig into this and how you overcome it and how a wedding day actually makes you feel amazing. I would love to hear about that. I love really vulnerable posts. I love personal posts, story posts, and all that sort of thing. Because I don't think this bit matches the carousel from this wedding.
Yeah, I think if I had to give an overall opinion on the stuff we've looked at today, I think all of our members are kind of nailing posting wedding stuff, or at least everyone who has entered into this today. There's not a lack of wedding photos getting posted. I would say it's worth thinking the captions through. So I'd say the ones that we've called out the most are where people have just thought, I need to post today. I'm going to do a quick caption like, had an awesome day. And I think we all get that sometimes when we feel that pressure to post on Instagram. But looking back at it, I think you're leaving a lot on the table if you just come up with a quick caption like that. So if you can just pull out something from the post that resonates with one person, doesn't matter if the picture gets 400 likes or 18 likes. If it connects with one person, you've done your job with that post. And that is almost always going to come from being a bit more specific to a detail in there or something that's going on in the image than just saying had an awesome time at this wedding. And also, I think there is a lot of scope for all of us to do more personal stuff, I would say.
We didn't see many personal posts, actually.
No, so I think we're good at sharing our wedding photos. And overall, it's probably still the best strategy to do it. So it's like basically an alternative portfolio for us. So you want work that looks good and looks professional. But I think compared to our personal Instagrams or the personal Instagrams of people who we maybe connect with out there, there's a lot of room to do stuff about our lives, what's going on for us, our passions, our children, our pets, our hobbies. And social media works so well with those things because we're on there to have a nose at what our friends are doing or find out more about the people whose maybe we know their businesses, but we don't know them.
And it's so important for a wedding day to know your photographer.
So I think there's a lot of scope for us all to just dig a bit deeper and maybe be a bit more personal going into things about even the things that make us anxious.
Definitely, yeah.
Because that's what makes us real people who the audience are going to connect with.
That's a fantastic summary, thank you. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and even if we didn't do yours, I hope that was helpful for you as well. And gave you some good inspiration for your future posts. So, thank you so much to you guys for putting your links down. We appreciate that. And, enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.